All right, you want to turn the last page?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Forever and ever and ever, the end.
Really forever.
It's like a really long time. I don't really know how to explain it. There's not like a kid's book on that.
Why not?
I don't know. Do you want to write one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
I need help.
Okay, forever, right. How do we start? How long do you think forever is?
Forever.
Forever, yeah. How long do you think it is?
Whole day.
A whole day? Yeah, well, I mean, when you're 2, I guess a whole day probably does feel like forever. But I was thinking of things that are like way older, like...
Dada.
Yeah, okay, well, thanks. I needed that.
But forever can mean a whole bunch of different things. Like you'd wait forever for your pasta water to boil. Or it could feel like forever until you'll be an adult, even though you're growing up so fast. Or when you are an adult, you can spend forever worrying about things.
You have to walk.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin.
You have to walk it.
Yep, stuff like plastic in the ocean, or whether or not stuff will be around forever. Like this, or even these. When I was a kid, I thought it was all just about planting enough trees. But now I'm learning all this other stuff.
Like, there's fires, and then there's the smoke that the fires cause, and then there's the chemicals that was in the stuff that burned in the fire, and then there's landslides that happen because the things that were holding all the ground together burned in the fire. And then there's things like mudslides, and don't even get me started on floods. And then there's hurricanes and tornadoes and microbursts and cyclones and water rights and social inequity and microplastics.
They're apparently in everything now. And we're learning about
Forever chemicals? They basically last forever, but they're in just about everything.
and what if they get into the water and then just keep on spreading until they end up into everything else?
Oh, shoot!
A mess. Here you go.
A mess I don't know how to clean up. I don't know what happens next. And I just worry what you'll be left with. And what you might lose. Forever.
And that's what I worry about.
I just hope.
So what, am I supposed to just draw some phone and call some scientist or hero who knows what's going on?
Of course.
Oh. Okay.
Hello?
Wow. I can't believe this works.
Yes, it works. This is Mark Ruffalo. How can I help you?
Well, let's see. Thoughts. Hold on. So my son asked me a question about forever, and then...
You lost?
Oh, Mark, hold on. There you are. My son asked me a question about forever, and then I thought about all the things we might lose forever, and all the things that I hope he never has to experience, and maybe how some of them could be avoided. But the world just feels so full of big issues, and I just wonder, how do you stay positive when it all feels so dark?
Well, I don't know if you've ever been in a dark night and you see someone light a candle. A long way away, you can see that candle in the darkness. And so the light is always stronger than the dark. It is scary and it does feel overwhelming sometimes. But once you step into that, once you make one step towards the right way, others meet you. And then all of a sudden, everyone's holding a little candle in that vast, endless darkness, and it's all of a sudden illuminated.
But what about the issues that are like literally invisible, like these PFAS, forever chemicals? You know, I can barely wrap my own head around it, why they exist, what to even do about it, let alone trying to explain it to a a 2.5-year-old.
These are chemicals that were used to make things waterproof. They were used to make things grease-proof, so they put it in food packaging, and it was a great invention at the time. It made things very durable. They made it to paint tanks so that tanks and boats would never rot or rust. But what they came to find out is the very things that were wonderful about these chemicals were the things that made them so harmful. Because in the natural world, water washes away the stones, it makes sand, it's the great solvent of the planet. It cleans the world, it cleans our bodies, it cleans everything. And these things, these chemicals, are absolutely resistant to water. They last longer than the cliffs on the sides of the ocean. They last longer than the rocks that are tumbling in the surf. Those things can be broken down by water, but this can't.
Where do we even start?
Well,
Here you go.
Thanks?
Well, first, it's a big problem. But you see other heroes, like the lawyer and the farmer. They started something to stop all of these chemicals from going into our water and our food and our air. And that's become huge. They started with 2 people, and then there was hundreds of people, and now there's thousands of people, and now there's millions of people throughout the world who want to stop these chemicals. And so I thought, well, how can I contribute? What do I do? I'm not a painter, but I'm an actor. And maybe I could tell a story about these 2 guys that I think were really inspirational, these 2 heroes. And maybe other people will see my story and say, I want to be part of that. I want to join that little army of goodness.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Sign us up. But it's not like anyone can fight it all, right? How do you choose what to do?
Life is full of big issues, and we're always, at some point or another, put in a position to have to maybe fight for the things that we care about. And part of that is first caring about something and loving something enough to fight for it. And that will always be part of being a human being, and that we accept that. And that's what makes us love the things we love even more.
Okay, you ready to turn that last page?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. And they each found their own little light. And together, they were so bright, they lit up the whole world. Yeah, that's right. And that's something worth fighting for. Forever and ever and ever.
Again.
And again, yep, and again and again and again and again. That's right.
Yeah, enjoy the process. And
how'd you get my number anyway?
I painted.
Makes sense.